developments in that intense search for Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old from Long Island who vanished during a road trip with her fiance. Tonight, police are looking for her fiance, Brian Laundrie, too. Search teams descending on an enormous nature preserve today in search of him.
I'm sure you guys have heard about this case. It's been blowing up all over the news recently. A young woman, Gabby Petito, age 22, has gone missing. And now her fiance, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie, who was a person of interest, has also gone missing. I normally don't like to cover cases this early on as there is not a lot of information. The story is still unfolding as we speak, and the information from the media can be misreported, inaccurate, and/or misleading. But as you guys know, every passing moment in a missing person's case is crucial to finding that person. So I'm going to do my best to give you guys the most up-to-date and accurate information I can find. With that in mind, there may be some discrepancies, inconsistencies, and just plain mistakes in the story. Links to all of my sources, extended articles will be in the description below. Please read the disclaimer, and let's get into today's case. Gabby Petito, also known as Gabby, is a 22-year-old vibrant young woman. She is engaged to be married to her fiance, 23-year-old Brian Laundrie. The two lived with Brian's family in Northport, Florida, and is said to have a very tumultuous relationship, however, appeared very much in love. With the growing popularity of van life on social media, you can see why this couple decided to downsize their lives and travel full-time. In June of this year, the couple decided to take a cross-country trip in Gabby's 2012 white Ford Transit Connect. The young couple documented their journey on their YouTube channel called Nomadic Static, with 22.5 thousand subscribers at the time of this video. They have one video published to the channel called Van Life, Beginning Our Van Life Journey. This was posted 4 weeks ago, gaining over 1 million views. That would be the only video they would upload to this channel. It appears that Gabby was the one running this channel, and if you look up their Instagram pages, you can see that Gabby is much more active as well as popular on Instagram than Brian. She has about 300,000 followers, while Brian has about 100,000 followers at the time of this video. However, I'm sure that has something to do with her disappearance. If you take a look at her page, you can see that Gabby has a very specific style, color scheme, and overall, her page just appears to be a lot more cohesive than Brian. She obviously knew what she was doing when it came to social media. That is why I believe she was the brains behind Nomadic Static. At some point, it does appear that Gabby took over direction of Brian's page as well, because all of his photos start to match Gabby's style. If you take a look at Gabby's page, you can see that her aesthetic is very, very obvious. But if you take a look at Brian's short history in posting, you will see that at the beginning, he had just a lot of random different photos. There wasn't any particular pattern that he was following, or aesthetic or color scheme, and it appeared that he was very much into his art. He was posting art on there a lot. If you put their pages side by side, you can literally see where Gabby started to take over and take direction over Brian's page. I know you guys are probably thinking, so what does this have to do with the case? Like, why is it important? It's not that important. It's just a small detail I felt could shed some light on the dynamics of their relationship. They also ran a blog spot at nomadicstatic.com. Again, all the information will be in the description below. On July 2nd of this year, they set off on their adventure from New York. Now, I think it's important to mention that Gabby was from Long Island, New York. That is where her parents currently reside and where she's from. So I think they were probably, I'm not 100% on this, but I'm guessing that they were probably visiting her parents. Gabby was excited about the trip and to share her experience with her family members, her friends, and the world. During their travels, she maintained contact with her family. But sometime around the end of August, her communication came to a full stop. On July 12th of this year, Moab, Utah police responded to a call from a witness named Christopher, who reported seeing the couple fighting near the Moonflower Co-op and feared the worst. He told police that he saw Brian and Gabby fighting over a cell phone, and at some point, Brian got into the van. That is when he witnessed Gabby hit Brian on the arm and tried to climb through the driver's window. According to him, it appeared that Brian had locked her out and she was trying to get in. Officers located the couple just a few miles up the road and pulled them over. Now, in the police report, it says that Gabby was crying uncontrollably and that both parties admitted to police that Gabby suffers from really bad anxiety.
You tend to have a lot of anxiety and stress.
I have a lot of anxiety.
And what's his name? My ex-wife. I'm just sharing, I know it's a little personal, but to help you understand, we would feed off each other's anxiety and spiral. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how much I loved her. It may be bad for your soul. Just saying. I'm not telling you what to do with your life, but if you know you have anxiety, look at the situations you can get in.
Brian also told police that the two had been having problems for the past 4 to 5 months, and it had been getting worse ever since they started traveling together.
And he wouldn't let me in the car before. And then
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because of
told me
your OCD?
told me I needed to calm down.
So, tell me what's going on.
She just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her, so like I lock the car and I walk away from her.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand, that's why I was pushing her away.
Both of them are adamant that they were in love and this was just a little fight. They didn't want each other to get in trouble or any charges to be pressed.
I'm fine, and I love Gabby. I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me.
So she does have a couple of messages for you. One, she says she loves you. She's looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. 2, don't forget a cell phone charger.
And in the police report, it says, after evaluating the totality of the circumstances, the responding officer wrote that he did not believe the situation escalated to the level of domestic assault, as much as a mental health crisis. No charges were filed.
So I'm choosing not to cite you today. So you are not going to be charged with anything. All right? But this is what I do have to do. I am separating between you tonight.
In this instance, it sounds like the altercation was due to Gabby's anxiety. We have no idea what else they were talking about or what was going on in their private relationship in life, so we have no clue. Police advised the couple to separate for the night. It was reported that both individuals had their cell phones on them in case of emergencies. Brian and Gabby insisted that they did not want to be separated, but police wasn't having it. And as a precautionary measure, police put Brian up in a nearby hotel for the night, and they let Gabby take the van. You know, just so the two could get some space and, you know, for things to sort of fizzle out and calm down before anything else happened. They probably saw this young couple and didn't want it to end badly, so they gave them the best advice that they knew, which was to take some time apart and revisit the situation the next day.
And unless there's earth-shattering emergency news, don't text tonight, okay? Even with the good nights, I love you. He's saying good night now. He's saying he loves you now, and you guys can talk tomorrow morning, okay? He's gonna go to the hotel. I'm gonna give you the keys to the van. And we'll go home. Alrighty? So, here's that. I'm giving him a ride over to the hotel.
So what we know is at this point, the van was in Gabby's possession while Brian was in the hotel. Yeah, that was really nice of them. I'm surprised the police is putting people up in hotel rooms. I didn't know they did that. According to an article written by CNN, on August 24th, Gabby FaceTimed with her mother and told her she was leaving Utah and heading towards the Teton Range in Wyoming. The next day, on August 25th, there were multiple texts between Gabby and her mother. The family believes she was in Teton on this date. On August 27th, there were more texts between Gabby and her mother. They believe she was still in Teton at this point. On August 30th, they received a text from Gabby's phone that said, "No service in Yosemite." Her family thought this was unlike Gabby and didn't believe she wrote the text at all. This would be the last message they received from her. The family also noticed a decrease in her social media activity around this time. On September 1st, Brian returned to the home the couple shared with his parents in Northport. He showed up in Gabby's white van, but without Gabby. Where the hell is Gabby? How are you gonna show up in her van without her and not expect people to ask? Woo, child. I am going to try my best to hold my commentary and my theories, okay, for later, another video, because I know that there's not enough information yet and not enough evidence released yet for me to put that out there. Well, hell, if I even get started just a little bit, with a little bit of evidence, with a little bit of circumstantial evidence that we know. On September 11th, after numerous failed attempts to get in contact with Gabby, her parents, who were living in New York, filed a missing persons report that evening. Police located the van that the couples had been traveling in at the Laundrie's family home. Surprise, surprise. Hold the commentary, but like, I just have so many questions. Like, if something bad did happen and you did something, how do you not have the common sense to not drive the van back? And see, this is where I'm gonna digress, because he is only 23, and I'm not trying to like offend any 23-year-olds out there, but the brain is not fully developed under 25, okay? I'm gonna let him slide. I'm gonna let him slide. Police seized the van and is processing it for evidence. They say they have found some material in there that authorities will be going through. That night, police went to the Laundrie's family home asking to speak with Brian, hoping that Brian or the family could shed some light on the situation. Why hadn't Brian reported her missing from the jump? That's red flag number 1. I don't know, maybe he thought he was gonna get in trouble. Why would you think you're gonna get in trouble? I mean, if you left her out in the middle of the wilderness alone, that is not a crime. That's effed up. It's shameful, especially her being your fiance. You're supposed to protect her. It's shameful and immature, but it's not a crime. If something has happened to her at this point, you definitely put her in danger. You could be, if God, oh Lord, knock on wood, it ain't true, but if something has happened to her, you would have contributed to her demise. Why not just speak up about it and be like, hey, yes, she was irritating me, whatever, I had to leave her out in the wilderness, I made a mistake. Let her family find her, okay? He's been home this entire time. The van's been at his parents' house this entire time, so his parents now know that he's returned without Gabby. I'm just confused as to why his parents didn't at least report her missing. Why did it go this long? So that night, police went to the Laundrie's family home hoping to speak with Brian. And when they showed up to the home, they was essentially met with a statement, a handwritten statement. I believe it was a paper statement that they gave the officer that said that with the contact information of their lawyer, of their attorney. Cold-hearted. I tried to keep it together. Y'all saw me at the beginning of this video. I was all cool, but this is really, really frustrating. According to a police spokesperson, that was the extent of the conversation between them. They didn't really have a conversation, pretty much. On September 16th, during a news briefing, the Petito family lawyer gave a statement from the Petito family pleading with Brian and his family to please help with the investigation. This is what it read. Please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby is located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place. So at this point, they just want to, this makes me so sad because they just want to know if they're even looking in the right place. All we want is for Gabby to come home. Please help us make that happen. We haven't been able to eat or sleep, and our lives are falling apart. On the advice of counsel, Brian and his family refused to cooperate with police, and their attorney released this statement. This is understandably an extremely difficult time for both the Petito family and the Laundrie family. Somebody's dirty laundry is about to get aired out. No pun intended. It is our understanding that the search has been organized for Miss Petito in or near the Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. On behalf of the Laundrie family, it is our hope that the search for Miss Petito is successful and that Miss Petito is reunited with her family, which I want to just throw in there is also you, because she's engaged to your son. You don't get it? These people, oh goodness, okay. On advice of counsel, the Laundrie family is remaining in the background at this juncture. Juncture? Really? Like it's a backyard party? Juncture? And will have no further comment. Are you pissing me right now? How could you be a parent yourself and sit back and allow, I'm not saying it's their fault, I don't want to blame people, but allow this to continue without your efforts, without your support? That girl is your daughter-in-law. That girl was living in your house, engaged to your son. She's your daughter. Almost. You knew that girl. I can't get it wrapped around my brain. You guys not coming forward and doing all you can. I understand you wanting to protect your son. I get it, wouldn't. But as a human being, I just spit at the camera. I'm not trying to spit on y'all. That wasn't a diss. As a human being, how could you take that onto your conscience for the rest of your natural lives? You not speaking up and aiding in the investigation to find your daughter-in-law, a woman, a young woman who lived in your home with you and your son. She is your daughter too. If he made a mistake, he made a mistake. Come forward, he made a mistake. It makes me feel like if he didn't do anything wrong, he doesn't have his story straight. And so their attorney was just like, don't talk at all. His family knows something and they need to speak up. People became increasingly suspicious based off of that last statement that was released, and they became outraged and they started picketing outside the Laundrie family's home, and they were protesting, where's Gabby, where's Gabby? Later on, their attorney would go on to release another statement. This is what he said. Many people are wondering why Mr. Laundrie would not make a statement or speak with law enforcement in the face of Mrs. Petito's absence. In my experience, intimate partners are often the first person law enforcement focus their attention on in cases like this. For good reason. History has proven itself. I digress. And the warning that any statement made will be used against you is true, regardless of whether my client had anything to do with Mrs. Petito's disappearance. As such, on advice of counsel, Mr. Laundrie will not be speaking on the matter. Brian Laundrie was named a person of interest in this case. He is not a suspect at this time. Authorities say there is no evidence that a crime has occurred. Another bizarre thing that happened was that Gabby's Instagram was taken down. Police are still trying to figure out what the heck happened there. They are still investigating why her account was taken down and then reposted. It's Gabby doing this? Is someone else doing this? In a bizarre twist, a TikToker by the name of Miranda Baker came forward and posted a viral video claiming that her and her boyfriend had given Brian a ride. They said that he was hitchhiking alone in Wyoming. I'm gonna show you guys the video now, but I just wanted to warn you guys, with these sort of high profile cases, it's a little bit more difficult to tell who's really telling the truth or not. We've seen in other cases before in the past where there will be witnesses and people coming forward that actually didn't know anything and had nothing to do with the case. They just knew that it was popular and wanted to be a part of it. So they started making up stories. I'm not accusing Miranda of that. Like I said, I'm not a body language expert. I'm putting it out there because the information is out there. Take it with a grain of salt. Use your discernment to figure this out. Check out Observe's channel. He's a great body language expert. I really enjoy his content. Very, very high quality. And he's already done a video on Brian and Gabby. over on his channel. He did one from the body cam, from the police footage when Brian and Gabby had gotten into it. So check that out if you guys are curious about that.
Hi, my name is Miranda Baker, and on August 29th, my boyfriend and I picked up Brian at Grand Teton National Park at 5:30 at night at Coulter Bay. I'm hoping this can help someone identify him because I saw him from TikTok, which then made me call the authorities, and my boyfriend and I have been in contact with a bunch of different people to help piece together different parts of this case. But we picked him up at Coulter Bay, like I said, at 5:30. He approached us asking us for a ride because he needed to go to Jackson, which we were going to Jackson that night. So I said, hop in. He hopped in the back of my Jeep. We then, proceeded to make small talk. But before he came in the car, he offered to pay us like $200 to give him a ride, like 10 miles. So that was kind of weird. He then told us he's been camping for multiple days without his fiance. He did say he had a fiance, and that she was working on their social media page back at their van. Then once, in conversation, I brought up, we're going to Jackson. He freaked out. He's like, nope, I need to get out right now. Pull over. So we pulled over at the Jackson Dam, which I don't know if you know Teton Park, but it's not very far from Coulter Bay. And if this does reach people, I can post pictures of exactly where we were. We picked him up and the whole route or whatever, and screenshots of the timestamps. We dropped him off at 6:09 p.m. on August 29th. He kind of hurried out of the car, and then he's like, okay, I'm just gonna go find someone else to hitchhike. And we're like, okay. It was a weird situation. So when we picked him up, he was wearing a backpack, he had a long sleeve pants, hiking boots, and he had scruff, but he didn't look dirty. For someone who was camping for multiple days, he didn't look dirty, he didn't smell dirty, so that part was kind of weird. And I'm just really hoping that they find her, and this helps someone remember seeing him, or something like that.
Just days after Miranda's viral video was uploaded, Brian is now missing. He was reported missing by his parents on Friday. According to an article by ABC 7 News, the FBI officially began their search for Brian Laundrie when his parents reported him missing on Friday. They said they hadn't seen him since Tuesday last week.
They believe that he came out here on Tuesday.
And what exactly did they tell you about what happened on Tuesday? Was it in the evening, he walked out? Did he say anything to his parents?
He had his backpack. He said that this is where he was coming.
And did he say why?
Not that I'm.
Why they waited?
Not that I know.
Why did they wait until yesterday to tell you that this?
That's a great question. We've obviously been trying to reach the family and them to get answers in this case since Saturday. The first time that we've had any in-depth full conversation with them was yesterday. Their attorney called and said the family is concerned about Brian's whereabouts. They would like to file a missing persons report.
Northport police originally believed that Brian was inside the family's home until Friday evening.
His vehicle, what about the vehicle? Was the vehicle found on site?
It was not.
It was not. Where was the vehicle found?
It was at the Laundrie's home.
At their home?
Yes.
Well, you said that they thought that he was in his vehicle.
Right.
So, if it was at their house, why would they think that?
Look, we're going by their word. We believe that vehicle did make its way from here back to that house.
Investigators said there is no official crime here, and these are still being considered multiple missing persons cases. Investigators were seen inside the Laundrie's home Friday evening. According to NPPD, they took every piece of information the family was willing to give, which, as we know, is very little. Police have spoken to Brian's sister, but they said that she had no valuable information to offer them. According to an article by Newsweek, Cassie Laundrie, Brian's sister, did an exclusive interview with Good Morning America on Thursday following Gabby's disappearance. Obviously, me and my family want Gabby to be found safe. She's like a sister to me. and my children love her, and all I want is for her to come home safe and sound, and this to be just a big misunderstanding. She wrote in regards to Brian, we haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him. What does she mean by that? Like, is the parents not allowing Brian to speak with his siblings either? Like, what? For what reason? You know, I don't understand. The MPPD Chief of Police, Todd Garrison, has been answering questions over on his Twitter account, which I think is very helpful in clearing up a lot of misinformation and rumors around the case. So if you guys want to keep up to date with the most accurate information, I would highly recommend going over and following his Twitter page. I believe it is called Chief Todd Garrison. I'll link that information in the description below as well. Also, I would recommend following the NPPD police page. They are putting up updates daily. I hope that was helpful to some of you guys who have questions and, you know, need some answers. The extended versions of all of the clips that I've added in this video will be linked in the description below if you guys just want to go check it out for your own selves, do your own research, girl. After finding out Brian Laundrie was missing, the Petito family's attorney released this statement. All of Gabby's family want the world to know that Brian is not missing. He is hiding. Gabby is missing. Law enforcement is reaching out to the public, stating that it is crucial for the public's help in solving this case. They're asking anyone with any information about the case to contact the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI.
First and foremost, on behalf of the FBI personnel and our partners, I would like to extend sincere and heartfelt condolences to Gabby's family. Joe and Tara Petito and Jim and Nicole Schmidt. As every parent can imagine, this is an incredibly difficult time for the family and friends. Our thoughts and prayers are with them. We ask that you all respect the privacy as they mourn the loss of their daughter. As you are aware, FBI personnel, in coordination with our partners at National Park Service, the Forest Service, Teton County Sheriff's Office, and Jackson Police Department, have been conducting an investigative activity in the vicinity of the Spread Creek dispersed camping area. Earlier today, human remains were discovered, consistent with the description of Gabby Petito. Full forensic identification has not been completed to confirm 100% that we found Gabby, but her family has been notified of this discovery. The cause of death has not been determined at this time.
I know you guys have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of things that I'm feeling and I want to say, but I'm going to hold them. I said a few in this video, but we're going to hold the rest, okay? What do you guys think about this case? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you like videos like these, check out the ones I have up here on the screen. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also share because it really helps me out. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.